Most people watch football and have absolutely no idea what's happening. Not because they're not smart, but because nobody ever explained it properly. You see 22 players running around a pitch. The ball flies from one end to the other. Someone scores, people go mental. And you're sitting there thinking, what just happened? Who was supposed to stop that? Why did that guy not run? Why is that one player just standing near the post doing nothing for 80 minutes? Here's the truth, every single player on that pitch has a completely different job, and once you understand what each job is, football transforms. You stop watching a chaotic mess and you start watching a tactical chess match happening at sprint speed. So that's what we're doing today. Every position, every role, what they do, why they do it, and the moments when they become the most important person on the entire pitch. By the end of this video, you'll watch football differently forever. Let's get into it. We start with the most unique position in all of professional sport. Not just football, all of sport. The goalkeeper, you'll also hear them called the keeper or the goalie, is the only player on the entire pitch allowed to use their hands. Out of 22 players, just one can touch the ball with their hands inside a specific area called the penalty box. Step outside that box, hands are illegal. Same rules as everyone else. Their job is to guard the goal, a frame that's 7.32 meters wide and 2.44 meters tall. That sounds big, and it is big, until a ball is coming at you at 100 kilometers per hour from 15 meters away. A goalkeeper has less than 0.2 seconds to react to a close-range shot. That is faster than a conscious human decision. The brain literally hasn't finished processing the shot before the keeper's body has to be moving. Most elite saves aren't calculated. They're pure reflex, muscle memory built over thousands of hours of training, firing before the mind catches up. And yet, that's only half the job. The best goalkeepers in the world are also the most important communicators on the team. They face outward while everyone else faces inward, which means they're the only player who can see the entire pitch at once. Every defender, every attacker, every danger zone. The goalkeeper is constantly shouting, positioning their defenders, warning about runners, organizing the shape of the whole team. Managers often describe their goalkeeper as the first defender and the first attacker at the same time. Think about Ederson at Manchester City. He doesn't just save shots, he launches accurate long passes to start attacks before the opposition can even get set up. Manuel Neuer revolutionized the position entirely. He became famous for leaving his goal, sprinting out to clear danger before it even developed, basically acting as an extra sweeper playing 30 meters from his own goal. People called it sweeper-keeper, and it changed how the whole world understood the position. One goalkeeper can win or lose a World Cup. Ask any Argentina fan about the 2022 final. Emiliano Martinez saved a penalty in the shootout. Argentina win. Different result there. Different history. Now we move up the pitch, standing in front of the goalkeeper, the defenders. Most teams play with two central defenders called center backs. Their job is straightforward on paper. Stop the opposition from scoring. In practice, it is one of the hardest jobs in football. Here's why. You can have a perfect game, 89 correct decisions in a row, and then make one mistake. One moment where you're a meter too slow, or you jump for the wrong header, or you misread a pass, and the ball is in the net. Your error, your fault. Everyone saw it, in the stadium, on TV, on the internet for the next 48 hours. Football has a brutal relationship with central defenders. The mistakes live forever. The 89 perfect moments don't trend, but here's what separates a good center back from a great one. It's not physicality, it's reading the game before it happens. Virgil van Dijk is the perfect example. When he arrived at Liverpool in January 2018, they were one of the leakiest defenses in the Premier League. Within 6 months, they were one of the best in Europe. Within 18 months, they won the Champions League. He didn't suddenly make his teammates faster or stronger. He reorganized where everyone stood and when they moved. His positioning was so precise that danger situations were neutralized before they became genuine threats. Center backs also control something called the defensive line. This is a coordinated movement where all the defenders push up or drop back together, like a wall that moves as one unit. If one player misses the signal and stays deep while everyone else pushes up, the opposition striker is suddenly onside and through on goal. It happens in milliseconds. It requires constant communication and trust. They trust each other completely. That trust is worth more than any individual talent. Basically from the 1880s all the way to the early 2000s, fullbacks had one job: defend the wide areas, stop the winger from crossing, go nowhere near the opposition goal. Defending was their only purpose, and anything else was considered reckless. That era is completely gone. The modern fullback is one of the most athletically demanding positions in world football. Today, a top fullback is expected to defend against dangerous wide players, yes, but also bomb forward at speed to join the attack, deliver precise crosses, sometimes even cut inside and shoot, and then sprint back to their defensive position before the opposition can counterattack. In 90 minutes, elite fullbacks cover cover more ground than almost any other position on the pitch. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool's right back, is probably the most extreme example of how much this position has evolved. Nobody created more. He's a right back. He plays at the back. He was the most creative player in England's best league that year. On the other side of the argument, some coaches argue that modern fullbacks push so far forward they leave massive gaps that fast opposition teams can exploit. It's a risk, and at the highest level, every position involves risk. We're moving into the middle of the pitch now, the engine room. The part of the field where matches are actually decided. Let me introduce you to the most underappreciated player on any football team, the holding midfielder, also called the defensive midfielder. Their job is to sit just in front of the center backs and protect them. They're the first line of defense for the defense. When an opposition attack breaks through, the holding midfielder is the barrier. They read where the danger is going. They intercept passes. They win back the ball. They cover the spaces that open up when fullbacks or other midfielders push forward. And here's the key thing, they do this almost invisibly. You will not notice a great holding midfielder. That's the measure of a great one. The team functions perfectly. Attacks are snuffed out early. The defense looks calm and organized. And if you're a casual viewer, you'll look at that performance and think, nothing really happened. The other team just didn't attack much. Wrong. The holding midfielder made sure of it. N'Golo Kanté became the most celebrated example of this in recent history. Standing at 5'6", tiny for a professional footballer, he won back-to-back Premier League titles with two different clubs, won the World Cup with France, and won the Champions League with Chelsea. At the 2018 World Cup, a French analyst calculated that Kanté was covering so much ground per game that FIFA's GPS data had to be checked twice because the numbers seemed impossible for a human being. He didn't score many goals, he didn't take free kicks or corners, he just destroyed attacks before they started. He was everywhere, always. Sergio Busquets at Barcelona played the position differently, slower, more positional, less physical, but achieved the same result through reading the game so precisely that he barely needed to run. He once said something that defines the role perfectly. I play, the ball moves, I don't. Pure intelligence, barely moving but controlling everything. Same area of the pitch, completely different personality. The box-to-box midfielder gets their name from exactly what they do. They travel from one penalty box to the other, full length of the pitch. Attack, defend, recover. Attack again for 90 minutes. They're the complete midfielder. They defend like a holding mid, create like a playmaker, score like a forward, and cover ground like a machine. Every team wants one. Truly great ones are extraordinarily rare. Frank Lampard scored 177 Premier League goals as a central midfielder. That is more than most strikers score in their entire careers. He did it by timing late runs into the box so precisely that defenders constantly lost him. He'd be organizing things in midfield and then gone. A tackle in his own half, a 50-meter pass splitting the defense, a sprint into the box to finish. One player doing the work of three. The number 10, the Playmaker, the Trequartista, the Enganche. Different countries have different names for it, but they all describe the same thing, the most creative player on the pitch. This position produces the most technically gifted players football has ever seen. Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, Juan Román Riquelme, Mesut Ozil. Here's an interesting tension in modern football though. The number 10 is dying out. Not completely, but the position is under serious threat. Modern teams press so aggressively, so high up the pitch, and with so much coordination that the space a number 10 needs is disappearing. Opponents collapse the gap between the lines constantly. Traditional playmakers who need time on the ball are being squeezed out. Some of the biggest clubs in the world have stopped playing with a classic number 10 altogether. Others argue this just means the position needs to evolve, that a new kind of number 10 is emerging, one who presses, who tracks back, who combines creativity with relentlessness. The debate is very much alive. Wide players, the entertainers, the ones who make the crowd rise out of their seats. Wingers play on the left and right sides of the attacking line, close to the touch lines. They're usually among the fastest players at any club, and they tend to be the most exciting to watch. Now there are two styles of winger, and understanding the difference changes how you see the whole attacking shape of a team. The traditional winger stays wide, runs to the byline, the edge of the pitch at the end line, and crosses the ball into the box. Then there's the inverted winger. And this is one of the smartest positional tricks in modern football. An inverted winger plays on the opposite side to their stronger foot, so a right-footed player plays on the left wing. Arjen Robben played this way for 15 years at the highest level. Right-footed, left wing, cut inside, shoot. Every defender on the planet knew exactly what was coming. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, the Dutch national team. Opponents studied it, prepared for it, drilled specifically against it. It didn't matter. He kept doing it. They kept not stopping it. When a move is simple enough and executed with enough quality, knowledge of it doesn't make it stoppable. That's the magic. And now, the ones whose names go on the back of the shirts. The ones fans travel thousands of miles to watch. The strikers, also called the center forward or the number 9, has one primary job above everything else: score goals. Everything the team does in attack ultimately exists to create a moment where the striker can finish. The target forward is physical, big, strong, dominant, in the air. Players like Didier Drogba, who was essentially impossible to move off the ball, who could hold up possession with his back to goal for 30 seconds while teammates joined the attack, and then turn and finish with either foot. He made defenders feel like they were pushing against a wall, and then the wall turned around and scored. The Poacher is completely different, smaller, quieter, rarely involved in build-up play, but their brain works differently. They have an almost supernatural ability to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment. These strikers make goals look easy because their positioning makes the situation look simple. The cross comes in, they're already there. The rebound falls, they're already on it. Gerd Müller, arguably the greatest goal scorer who ever lived, was described by his own teammates as invisible. He'd go 80 minutes without touching the ball meaningfully and then materialize from nowhere to score. He scored 68 goals in 62 appearances for West Germany, 68 goals in 62 games for a national team. That number shouldn't be possible. And then there's the role that broke defensive systems entirely: the false 9. The false 9 looks like a striker but plays like a midfielder. Instead of staying high and stretching the defense, they drop deep into midfield areas to receive the ball. This pulls center backs forward away from where they want to be and creates space in behind them for midfielders to run into. If the center back follows the false 9, there's space behind them. If they don't follow, the false 9 has the ball in space with time to think. Either way, the defense is in trouble. When Pep Guardiola used Lionel Messi as a false 9 at Barcelona, nobody in world football had a reliable answer to it. It wasn't a coincidence that Barcelona won everything during those years. Here's the thing that ties every position together, and this is what makes football endlessly fascinating. None of these positions work alone. They work in relationship to every other position on the pitch. When the fullback pushes high and wide, the holding midfielder shifts across to cover the gap. When the winger cuts inside, the fullback runs into the space they left. When the striker drops deep to receive, a midfielder sprints into the space the striker vacated. Everyone's movement creates something for someone else. The best teams in the world, the ones who dominate for years, who win World Cups and Champions Leagues, they don't have 11 great individual players. They have 11 players who understand each other so completely that they function as one organism. And the teams that lose, they often have individuals who are technically superior, but they don't connect. That's the game. 11 jobs, one purpose, and more depth than most people ever get the chance to see. Here's what you now know. The goalkeeper sees everything and commands the defense. The center backs protect the goal with intelligence as much as physicality. The fullbacks stretch the pitch in both directions. The holding midfielder quietly prevents disasters nobody notices. The box-to-box midfielder covers every blade of grass. The number 10 finds beauty in the tiniest gaps. The wingers create chaos in wide areas. And the striker in D. Next time you watch a match, don't follow the ball the whole time. Pick one player, watch what they do when they don't have it. Watch their positioning, watch their runs, watch them communicating. That's where football actually lives. And if this changed how you see the game, there's a lot more on this channel. Tactics, history, World Cup breakdowns. The biggest decisions in football explained simply. Subscribe and you'll never watch a match the same way again.